So at that time, clearly I was so confused by their behaviors because I don't know why they do that, why they don't do that on the office. Then they use the wine table to talk about the business. So I have the question, when do Chinese people need to go to the wine table? Especially, it's like a long history in our country. In the Chinese Asian time, the wine culture in our country is as old as that of people. Before the long history about why people like to drink wine, the Chinese people have learned to have mastered how to learn the wine making technology. Like the people, the emperor want to use the wine banquets to invite like some generals to talk about something seriously, and like some negotiation is happened on the wine table. Especially the long history about the wine banquets they all they usually began in the morning and then lasted until maybe 7 or 8 hours. And in the Song Dynasty, they used the wine banquets often lasted maybe for 3 or 5 days. It's a long day because of the long period. We thought the topic is boring and people will be exhausted by the wine drinking. So we invented the persuasion of drinking. We use some persuasion skills to to use for our conversation to invite our similarities in the wine table. So it's like a long history why people like to use wine to talk about business. And when we talk about the wine, we often use other like some activities like the silk, bamboo songs, and dance. We can watch the performance and then we can drink wine and talk about some things about the business. There is like a famous story about wine. It's in the Song Dynasty. The man we called him Song Taiju. This is like the emperor of Song because he was like the emperor, the leader of the state. He want to control. He want to be in control, and he invited the several generals of the military power. He want to let them to release their troops' power, let her to control the all of the military power. So he used some persuasion skills. Then at the wine table to talk about something else. Then in the end, all of these generals like to forgive her power to the emperor. Then they get the centralization of power. Then they get into a big state. And now, why like Chinese people like to talk about business and wine table? Because like Chinese people are more closed in our inside. We don't show our attitude or our personality at the office because we have to hide our emotions because we thought we are the strangers. I don't know you. You have to we have to give like our friendly impression to you because we like to invite you to our wine table because we can talk a lot on the wine table. We can use a wine to shorten our psychological distance between us. So we use wine to talk about business, just like some like our birthday celebrations and some rituals. we use wine to talk about something else. And why people like to use wine to talk about business, I thought, especially because the history. Like we use wine to talk anything else, just like especially when we are. I thought maybe I was like the modern people. We don't use the liquor to talk about our political activities, but we use wine as the like to 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 shorten our distance. Use the wine to make our happy or make our more closed. So it's a good reason why people to use wine to talk about business. And there are a lot of like advantage from this wine because we if we just like the Western people, they don't talk about business like especially in the office. They do really like to talk about business in the office. They don't like to use the restaurant or use the wine because when we are drunk, our minds is dizzy and our is it can cloud our mind. So, but in our Chinese people minds, we thought like if you are a good person because you don't show your bad personalities to us, but if you drink wine, then you show some bad things after the liquor. So we thought you are not that trustworthy and you may have some will do some bad things to me to our business. So it's a good way and it can be a social tool to verify you are a good person or not. So we thought the character of the wine is a good symbol to us to know you are the good person or not. And the mystery of wine table culture, we can say that there is like a saying goes in China: if you drink quickly, you are the straightforward and trustworthy person because you show your face. Just that face is not your real face, just your inner personalities. You show your honesty to us. I know your enthusiasm, so we can be the best business partner in the future. So it's like we like hide the emotion and the enthusiasm in the wine. When you drink this wine, we can be the best friends in the future, and we can be the best partners in the future. So it's like it is composed of a lot of rituals and celebrations because in the ancient times we use the wine like it is like the upper class people will use wine to drink wine to talk about something like political things and all the government liquor can stimulate us to say something about the government or the political things directly. But now I thought the young people don't like drinking wine because they will say something wrong about like the political things. So it's not a good way for us, for the teenagers to drink wine. I felt that. And if you ask me about the story when I speak in the beginning, maybe I can understand why my mom have to communicate with her partner for a long time before the restaurant, before the lunchtime. I can understand why my mom have to ask about something else, anything about the business. They just talk about what's how they are doing recently. They can know something details, something deeply with their partners. So it's a good way to shorten their distance with each other. So if you want to do business with the Chinese people, with a Chinese person, maybe wine is a good tool for you to make friends or shorten your cycle, because there are a lot of cultural shocks between us. If you are the foreigner, I don't know your personality, so we have to use the tool to shorten our distance. So in our Chinese opinion, we thought wine is a good way to invite people to be our friend. So thank you for listening to me.